your path demands you to walk through hell,
And I'm feeling
walk in as if you own the place.
Really, Ed, you think that Bane is a Oscar-worthy masterpiece? You really do have no brains in there. I know we scooped them out, but really, you should have more sense than that. Oh, good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to Miss Violet's Underworld. I am your host, the Queen of the Undead, Miss Violet Impulse. Today, we're going to be talking about Bane, and it really is a bane to fucking get through. I do not have anything nice to say. Well, I have one or two nice things to say about this film, but the rest just The premise of this film, according to the back of the case, is that four women wake up in a room with amnesia. They don't know how they got there, blah, 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 blah. It plays out a bit like a Saw film. For the first hour, it does. Then you find out the people that have been conducting these experiments have an alien. Left field that one a little bit, just a pinch. Okay, I can go with that. And then it turns out by the end of the film that the whole plot has been that these aliens came to Earth. They are impervious to all weapons, and the only way to defeat them is with love. They actually use that as a plot point, that they defeated the aliens with love. Now, I'm sorry, but James Eves, the writer, director, and producer of this film, are you trying to troll us? Is this a troll movie? Did you make this movie purely so that people would buy it and you could go, they fucking watch that shit? Because if that was your intention, bravo, you fucking succeeded. If your intention was to make a good horror movie, you failed. I'm sorry, but you failed. The acting in this film is so bad from the get-go. It's not like it gets gradually worse as the film goes in. You'd hope it gets better, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. There's no one of real kind of fame in it. They've been in other films. None I've ever heard of. So, I just could not gel with it. I had to watch this twice to get through it. It's a nearly 2 hour film. And in those 2 hours, the first hour, not a lot happens, but a few people die. There's no real plot progression other than people dying. They wake up with numbers carved in them, and it tells them the time they're going to die, which it tells you that on the back of the case. I'm sorry, but if one of your big plot points in the film is spoiled by the case itself, then I think this is a movie made purely to troll people. Seriously. Like, we told you the biggest point of the film. Oh, actually, no, the biggest point of the film is there's a fucking alien invasion going on. I watched the special features. The director even says, oh, it's set in a dystopian future. It never once establishes that at the start of the film. It never says, like, this happened, this. No, and I get it. That's to keep a little bit of mystery. But when you literally go from, I don't know, torture porn, Saw-inspired, mystery, to all of a sudden a big right swing or left swing, straight into sci-fi dystopian horror, I think maybe you just got 2 or 3 scripts you had and kind of shuffled them together and went, there you go, that's my script. Maybe they promised the studio a 2 hour film, so they had to stretch it out as long as they fucking could. Because there is some scenes in this that go on for a good 5 minutes, sometimes up to 10 minutes, with no dialogue. And no real even plot progression. Don't get me wrong, I do know in some films, that you don't need dialogue to move the story along. Mad Max Fury Road, I will point to that, much bigger budget, but even the original Mad Maxes, with Mel Gibson, the original early versions, told the story with not a lot of dialogue, and you always knew what was going on, you always got the point. In this film, it's people sitting on a bed not saying anything. Someone tending to somebody's wounds and not saying anything. It's just long stretches of nothing. Of boring nothing. I tried to watch this with a friend of mine. The first viewing. Now this person's usually up for like these kind of films. These low budgety kind of crap films. You know, it's like we get a kick out of it. Within 10 minutes, he was asleep. And I was fighting to stay awake. Now, I'm sorry, but in a horror movie, I said this in last week's video, when I was talking about Night of the Demons, how I was entertained the whole way through. This film, Bane, released in 2008, written, directed, and produced by James Evans. They do have a Facebook group. I'm not even going to bother going on there. I said in the Night of the Demons video that you should never be bored in a horror movie. You should never be bored. And this film was boring. Really boring. I get it, it's a micro-budget movie. They make that very clear on the introduction. The director does an introduction. He makes it very clear it's a micro-budget movie. It's not, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars thrown at it. It's an independent, low-budget, micro-budget film. I myself am impressed with the fact that the director managed to get it made. Respect to him for that, for pursuing his dream and making a film. I can give him all the respect in the world for that. But what I cannot excuse is a boring-ass horror film where nothing good happens. There's nothing entertaining, there's nothing interesting. Even the gore scenes are well done. I will say the gore, the practical effects of the gore, the wounds and things like that, it's very well done. But then when you see a doctor poking around, and this confused me in the film. This guy's meant to be like a medical doctor. There's a woman with like numbers carved into her back, and he's inspecting her wound. I shit you not, to my eyes, it looks like a pair of salad tongs. Like he's there like, it's like, dude, it's a cut. Not a fucking... What are you doing? Like, I get it. Like, you could have at least got something that looked like medical props. Oh my god. Oh. Which is, you know, something people like to hear from me occasionally. This film, I cannot recommend it. It's not worth, for me, in my opinion, this humble queen demon bitch's opinion. This DVD is not even worth the money of the disc that it is printed on. It is nearly 2 hours of my life that I wish I could get back. And I'm eternal! I'm an undead monster from hell. And even I want the time back that I lost watching this pile of shit. Anyway, I have been Miss Violet. That was Bane. Do not watch it. Even if somebody gives it to you, throw it in the bin. You're saving yourself some torture. And trust me, I like torture. And not even I could put up with that. Mwah. Love you all. See you next week. Bye.
If your path demands you to walk through hell,
And I'm feeling
walk in as if you own the place.